Disbelief once again. Welcome back, everyone. This is your goddess Sarah Belly, bringing you once again back into In Other Waters. Sorry for the cliffhanger at the end of the last episode. I had to. You're back. I need to talk. I'm on the medical level. She's totally unresponsive. I don't know what to do. I don't even understand how she's still alive. Comatose, muscle loss apparent, erratic brain activity. I keep going back to the image of her, blue, silent, staring out at the silt. A thin stream of bubbles flickering from her mouth. How long had she been there? Something kept her alive, that's for sure. The pressure alone should have crushed her at that depth. It just doesn't make sense. Did she take one of the life forms into her body? But she is still alive. She is alive. I need to talk to her, but nothing. I want to understand. I want to know what is going on here. I had a feeling we'd use this medbay. And I haven't seen her in years, not since she left, and now here she is. And you can't even talk to her. Do you ever imagine all of the things you're going to say to a person when you see them again? I definitely do. So far, there's not been a single question I didn't agree with. I wanted to scream at her, to whisper to her, to tell her, I came here for her. I don't know why I did, but I did. It's called love, you dumbass. I think it's because I had hope for something to change, for there to be an explanation. For those months we spent together to mean something again. Sorry, I'm not making any sense. This makes two times she's turned my life upside down. At least this time I knew what I was signing up for. It's not like I had anywhere else to be. The further I am from that dying planet, the better. Oh. Is Earth dying? What comes next? We keep going. Yeah, that's what you have to. She was looking for something out here. Something important enough to leave her like this. How much is for sure. It's our turn to take that forward, to find that explanation. I think she built that lab in the Bloom to study those mineral skeletons. Artificers, she called them. Artificers is an awesome name for them. But something was leading her deeper, beyond the drop-off. Let's start with those ROVs she sent up. Maybe they found something we didn't. I'll mark their last known positions on the dive map. And I'll be here until you're ready to go. Take your time, Mallory. Sample store. We're running out of storage. That could be either a good thing or a bad thing. That much is for sure. And I don't think it's going to. I think it means we're near the end. We're not going in the Bloom for a while, so I'm just dropping everything off. Crew terminals. She is still alive. I never thought I would see her again. Not after she sliced the core from the base on Kepler 62F and took the shuttle to God knows where. I spent weeks slowly freezing in that base, waiting for the Bakal team to come get me. After that, it all fell apart. There was never any life on Kepler 62F. Minay had faked the whole thing. She wanted the data core she knew Bakal would provide when she gave them evidence of first contact. Bakal blamed me, and all of my work as a consulting biologist collapsed. I limped back to Earth to take a post-grad position on a dying planet. So yeah, Earth is dying. That's why humanity's searching so aggressively for life. Well, this world would be perfect for that. It's got a lot of suns, so you'd have to adjust to that, but the plant life is pretty strong, and you could use the bloom as power. That's where... There's little need for a marine biologist in a planet where the only oceanic life is kept in tourist-choked reserves. Oh, so the oceans on Earth are completely dead. That's where I stayed, watching the endless exodus of humans with enough money to leave, looking out across the dead ocean at the pinpricks of the shuttle's rockets' flares, until a minute A called me here. I should blame her for everything, but I just want to know why. Perhaps now. If she ever wakes up, I can ask her. So yeah, Minay ruined her life. Yeah, that's getting lower. That's getting lower, that's getting lower, that's definitely getting lower. Alright, lab. In animals. Cola Tata? The snare veil. Snare veils are unique, soft-bodied creatures that resemble a thin sheet of silk, studded with lights. Found in tangles of multiple individuals, their hypnotic swaying and flickering lights make them difficult to see in their entirety. But from my initial observations, they appear to be flat panels, bioluminescent cells. Forgive me, I get hiccups real bad. Flat panels of bioluminescent cells, which are faintly veined, with both a nervous and a digestive system. Veins survive by capturing creatures which swim onto their surface, somehow stunning and killing them, and then digesting them on the exterior of their bodies. I've also observed veils passing prey from one individual to another, suggesting that they have some form of social interaction between individuals. Analysis of the digestive remains they leave behind might give some clues to their predatory behavior. Yeah, I forgot to scan that. There we go. Unknown creature caught by a veil and partially digested. There's gonna be something down here. Analysis of unknown remains found on nearby a veil tangle shows that this creature captures and kills its prey through an electrical charge. This charge is presumably produced by electric organs that sit beneath the veil's outer membrane, can produce incredibly high voltage outputs. In the remains analyzed show significant damage from these electrical discharges. The remains also suggest that the veils use electrical pulses to control the muscles and nervous system of captured creatures, forcing them to swim deeper into the grips of the veil when captured. The veil's manipulation of electrical signals seems highly nuanced, and they may use them for detection of prey and even communication between individuals. In order to confirm these theories, analysis of veil tissue is necessary, although this may prove difficult. Definitely could be. Dive map time. Oh goodness. Alright. So we still gotta find that sample there. And we got 2 places on the map to search for the drones. I'm loving the living shit out of this game. This is awesome. If you enjoy my adventures in it, do feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with a friend if you think they'll enjoy. Because this game's been beyond fascinating to me. So I'm sitting here with a slightly too strong for my preference coffee that is long gone cold because I overbrewed the stupid thing. And it's time to follow some debris. Glinting debris from the disabled ROV traces back into the sands. Volcanic outcrop, unmistakably basalt, formed in some volcanic trenches eons ago. This outcrop is outlined by the faint light of Gliese's suns. I'm not going to even attempt to say that numbers and CCs. I just flub myself up every single time. Declining slope. The pale floor descends rapidly away from the ridge in its direction towards a field of shadowy outcrops. Eastern plain. Eastern ridge of a small rise opens up into a flat plain of dimpled silt. Left or right? It's time to flip a coin. Today's coin, an American dime. And tails. Whatever that was supposed to mean. Let's head left. Basalt towers. Another group of towers rises towards the pale light, each strata piled with silvery silt. Shadowed gap. In the shadow of the towers, there is deeper silence. Pale passage from between the towers. Pale blue light flickers over the rocks. Wide gap flanked by the towers. This pass leads even deeper down the slope. Then I continue heading left. More friends. Veil tangled. The veils reach out towards the black basalt towers, emanating flashes of cyan light. More veils. We need to be careful. That we do. There has to be a way to find a path through. Clear water. The gap opened up between the veils, allowing passage between their Aussie bodies. Splitting veil. The veil is on the process of splitting away from the rest of its body. Is this how veils are born, or is this just an injury? No? Little squirt. Tangle edge. Even on the far side of the tangle, the veil's lights can be overwhelming, multiplying my shadow in all directions. Strobing veil. This is close to a veil. The light is unbearably intense. Its repeating patterns leaving ghosts on my retinas. Oh, it's bright. With the blinding veils behind me, I notice smaller pinpricks of light moving across the slope. There are other creatures here. And I see one. Complex creature. Massive tentacles and growths, unlike anything I've seen. What is this? It looks like a whole menagerie of creatures caught in a silken net. Oh. I can't wait to see this. It is difficult to understand the anatomy of these creatures just by looking. I'm gonna clip the edge of that down. Yep. Veil field. Veils shimmer along the slopes, marked with both glittering lights and the dark remains of those creatures who strayed too close. Alright, let's continue heading out. Let's avoid the veils for now. Complex creature. Occasionally this creature stops and unfolds its tentacles. The chambers to cover a broad area of water. Is it hunting? A void creature. Oh, void creature. The pale pulsing creatures seem so passive. I'm going to start taking notes on them. Ovoid creature sits pulsing on the edge of the deep oasis. They are glassy and soft, like partially boiled, shellless legs. Overgrown outcrop. This outcrop hides a wealth of life, from long-legged crawlers to filter feeders to blurred shapes which flit through the suit's lamps. Bright fan creatures. Like the fans found in the bloom, these creatures are fan-shaped. Oh, these fans seem to play a central role in the ecosystem here. I'm gonna start recording data on them. Good idea. Pale petals. Treefold petal. What are these petal-shaped creatures? They only grow around the glowing fans. Let's start logging. Trefoil petals, which gather around the glowing fans of the deep. They angle themselves towards the light like expected children. Glowing fan. This huge curved fan glows with a warm bioluminescence. Waves of amber light pass up from its considerable height. Interesting. It looks like we can collect it. Muco. Fan sheath. The filtering sheath of the glowing fan studded with a pollen. Interesting. Pale petals. With each of the wide petals has patterns of stomata and stamen across its surface. And from those, some kind of pollen is drifting out in clumps. Crab-like creature. Another new creature. These crawling creatures seem to keep them to themselves. Let's keep track of where we find them. With large moving slowly across the sea floor, with a large translucent crest protruding from its back. On closer inspection, the large translucent crest appears to be a gas-filled organ or bubble of some kind, rising from the silt and slit in the shell. A void creature. When close to these creatures, you can feel a pull of their strong filtering action as they absorb water and push it through their bodies. So they're a filter feeder, maybe like a ghost sponge, maybe? Or glass sponge. Those things look so cool. But then again, I think just about any sea life is, from the velvet worm to my scaly foot snail to all sorts of others. Deep oasis. From this side of this arrangement of pulsing and glowing forms nestled into the basalt is a sanctuary of life and warming light. Saw you enter my vision. Fast creature. These fast-swimming lobster-like creatures have dark shells with very large translucent tails. How do they move so fast? These creatures are so fast, their dark coloring makes them hard to see, but let's keep track of them. Ovular growths. Standing beside the clusters of egg-like forms, I can feel them filtering huge volumes of seawater in pulsing gulps. Ooh, that's a sample location. Deep oasis. This is a completely disconnected ecosystem by depth. Deep pollen. Large floating particles produced by deep sea plants. Downward slope. Away from the outcrop, the silty slope begins to descend again. Yeah, I've already tracked you. Oh goodness. Veiled field. A large field of veils whose pale light appears unpleasantly cold in comparison to the warmth of the oasis. Bright veils. A large tangle of veils stretches out ahead, producing a cyan light that softly flickers in the dark. Oh, there's no way through. The veils here create a set of gauzy walls, closing off the ocean around. Hypnotic lights. There's a beauty to being inside a field of veils. A song of light that makes it impossible to keep sense of direction. If I attract you. I'm gonna see if I can't avoid them first. There we go. No wonder Minet's ROV has never returned. These veils are everywhere. It reminds me of, like, in Stargate, of course. They're like on Earth, they must rely on predation to survive this deep, where little sunlight reaches. The ROVs remind me of the Malps from Stargate, how they're constantly being sacrificed. Some have bombs strapped to it, some are targeting for missiles and all sorts of other stuff. Just constantly getting destroyed. Who knows how temporary these gaps in the walls of veils are? We should make use of them while we can. Oh, is it gonna randomly change them around on me? Tangled veils. These loop veils are carrying a wave of light that passes from one individual to another and back again. What does this mean? Communication of some kind? I don't know. Veil passage, an avenue between the veils. Flickering shapes caught in the suit's lamps suggest other creatures make use of these safe passages too. Like the fast creature. Veil edge. Like city lights beyond the curtain, I can see the warm pinpricks of an oasis behind this waxy veil. Looks like when we know where we're going, we can just sacrifice power in order to get through these easier. Translucent shell. Some creature has shed or lost a segment of its tail shell here. Amongst the veils. Looks small enough to sample. So I gotta sample that, don't I? Well, that's some power sacrifice I have to do. Narrow passage. Veils are coming together ahead. I hope this gap will remain open long enough for us to pass through. Veil field. Past the drifting sheets, another pattern of light skirts around the edges of the tangle. Mutual predator on the veils, perhaps? Tangled edge. A gap in the tightly knotted veils leads to a welcoming amber light of another oasis. Alright, so I have to go through to you. Oof, that's a big chunk of power. Alright, nothing new to find here, just this shell. Tail segment. Section of shell from a creature with a translucent tail. Yeah, saw that coming. Alright, swinging back. Ouch. Is you worth any power? No. You are worth oxygen, though. It's not particularly useful right now. Creature remains. This veil is hung with husks of its catches, like dark clouds obscuring the starlit sky of its bioluminescence. Another sample location. Alright. Digested remains. I wonder if these would be worth any power. A little bit. And we've already read that one. Another oasis. Avoid creatures. These creatures seem to produce small branching buds in the same way that a hydra grows a clone of itself in order to reproduce. Yeah, that's an effective reproduction method. Allows you to produce fresh new adult forms of yourself with relative ease. Though it is resource intense in its process, it is effective. Crab-like creature. These wandering creatures always chew away the rock and silt of the ocean floor, filtering it for nutrients, perhaps? Yeah, that's quite possible. Pale petals. On closer inspection, these petals are solid growths, not fragile objects. They sit like thin tree stumps in the sand, each one of its own wide stalk. Another a void creature. At this creature's interior sits a sphere, surrounded by a reflective membrane, bathed in light from the transparent sections of its body. Glowing fan. This fan shimmers with waves of cold fire, bathing the surrounding oasis in warm light. Bright fans, significantly taller than the bloom's fans. These creatures seem to favor the rocky substrate of the ocean's floor's basal pillars. Alright. Nope. Complex creature. It's hard to tell if this is a colonial creature or a single individual. Colonial creature. A colonial creature. There's not too much complex life form, especially that size, because that is bigger than a human. To my knowledge, there's no creature that large that reproduces clonally. Whichever it is, we should keep out our distance to avoid those tentacles. Someone hasn't watched tentacle porn. Alright, sample time. Fan sheath. Oh, these are a good amount of power. Damn, yeah, very good. Cold fire bathers. I'm going to name these cold fire bathers. They seem to be strongly linked with the light of these fans. That is a sick name. Hell yeah. These wide petal-shaped plant ants gather in groups and grow in the light of deep-sea fans. Their pollen fills the water around each stem. Living outcrop. These tiny creatures crawl silently among the layers of dark rock, leaving behind small, strange marks in the shallow silt piles. Deep oasis. Another garden of creatures rooted in the deep, dark basalt shelf. A welcome break from the intensity of the Veil Fields. Let's head this way for. Oh, that's a sample candidate. Deep pollen. Fortunately, not a power option. Basalt shelf. The Veils seem to sit away from these basalt shelves, preferring to seat themselves in the silty dark between rocks. Bare outcrop. This side of the outcrop is where the warm light of the fans does not reach and is absent of light. So yeah, the ecosystem around here heavily depends on these fans. Small burrow. At the edge of the outcrop in the light sand slope, a shallow burrow leads down. Eggs glint within. We could sample them here. Some sort of animal. No, just animal. It's not. It is a little bit egg. So yeah, an animal egg. Beaded eggs. String of orange eggs found in the deep ocean. Fast. I'm guessing it's the fast creature's eggs. A better look at these creatures shows they are swimming with their rear legs while using their tails to propel themselves somehow. So kind of like a lobster or something, maybe? Oh, that one was real fast and I missed it. Water bulbs. I'm calling these cryptic creatures water bulbs. Let's see what we can do to uncover about them back at the lab. Another fast creature. These creatures seem to follow the same routes back and forth through the veils. Why do they limit themselves to these pathways? Because the veils are heckin' dangerous. Basalt pillar. At the northernmost tip of this outcrop, a dark pillar rises up, stacked layers edged with pale silt. See another island behind this. Alveolar growths. These sample candidate. These pale pulsing creatures have noticeable growths budding off from their central form. We could sample them here. Shelf edge. As the basalt shelf sinks back into the silt. The ocean floor fades away into a huge field of glittering veils. Let's head here first, because that is a sample candidate. And those are useful for our research. And some sort of animal tissue. Ovoid bud. The bud of an egg-shaped creature found in the deep. Good amount of power or a small bit of oxygen. Oh, we're finding all sorts of new life out here. Vale Field. Away from the outcrops, the Vales claim what territory they can. This field is the largest I've seen, wandering away into the deep. Alright. I'm heading towards that island that's over here. Unless it doesn't want me to. Vale Loop. Group of looped veils output the same pattern in an ornate game of call and respond. Nuts. Are they communicating with each other? No idea, but definitely seems to be the case. Okay, so there's no route to that island, at least not here. Might have to cut through the veils. And I prefer not to. That's a task for other Sarah. The Sarah a different day to do. A split in the veils leads into... There's another creature that... You were following us. Veil gap. A split in the veils leads into their ornate interior. Navigating this huge tangle will be a struggle. I can only imagine. Veil clearing. The veils are reaching in towards this point on the ocean floor, like veil lines seeking the sun. Deep orrery. With all these orbiting polyphs and strains, I'm naming this creature the Deep Orrery. An ornate creature that casts net-like arrangements of tentacles and polyps to shock passing prey into submission. Is it going to be using the same shocking method as these? Maybe it even eats them. Mirrored veils. The veils on each side are mimicking each other, both in shape and pattern. Their pulsing lights playing a mirror game. Twisting passage. Here the walls of veils come in close, turning away from the core or the tangle at strange angles. Veil Field. From the middle point this tangle, it is almost impossible to see beyond the glimmering walls to the ocean beyond. Sneak through there. I'm constantly going left first, you know that, right, folks? Among the hypnotic patterns of the veils, other lights move, pinpricks of like LEDs shifting in the loose orbit of an unseen body. Oh, there's another one spot. Veil Field? The curving walls lead to another gap in the tangle field with light and movement. I'm gonna keep going left. Narrow gap, two veils. They look like they have recently split. Present a narrow gap in the maze. Veil Passage. The tangle turns back on itself, revealing new paths into the interior. Veil Clearing. A gap in the middle of the tangles where the lights are dimmer. The sickening, shifting sensation lessens. Twisted Veils. I'm starting to think that it is some battle for territory between the veils as they search for the best spots to cast their nets. Right, aren't I? That's taking a chomp out of the veil. Let's head this way. Because they're moving throughout the veils without any issue. Narrow gap. Here the veils close in towards each other, sheets passing up against one another in gentle waves. Veil corner. The veils meet here, but through their translucent skin I see the dark shape of an outcrop. Oh, saw you down here. Tangled outcrop. Unlike the other outcrops, this dark rock is being invaded by the veils, subsumed by the tangles. That's an object. Glistening object. Something clouded and purple glints in the silt beyond the veil. It looks small enough to be sampled whole. Dark outcrop. Through the veils, the veils are encroaching on its position. The outcrop silently holds out against the cold chemical light. This is gonna hurt, but it's a sample candidate. And my inventory is full-ish. Nope, yeah, I got space. Zap. No, only zapped once. Nice. Animal tissue. Veiled polyp. A polyp from the colonial life form, lost in the ocean floor. Alright, I'm gonna swing back. Yeah. Only I could. I'm gonna have to run there. Bright fan. Unlike the bloom fans, these dark, deep water variants are covered in translucent sheath of mucus, which protects their delicate spines. Fading fan. This wilted fan faintly pulses while spines of its body have broken away, still faintly glowing in the sun. We could sample them here. Another sample, good sample candidate. I'm just gonna eat some of the pollen. Tissue, animal tissue. Oh, gonna eat some more of the pollen. I don't know why, but. Alright, this. I don't know why I've decided to be completionist about this. Oh, they're really good power. Alright. Well, it looks like as long as I have those, I really don't have to hesitate for diving through these things. I'm gonna try to minimize it, though. Oh, this one would hurt. Oh, I have to pass through it continuously for a little while. Okay, so it only hits once. Glowing garden. Another refuge in these dark waters, glowing with light. Tangle edge. Here the veil parts, looping back towards their fellow tangles. Crab-like creature. Different individuals of this species seem to have variant sizes of bubbles on their backs. Are they carrying oxygen in there? I don't know. Cold fire fan. Ooh, that's a cool name. I'll call these cold fire fans after those mesmerizing flame-like pulses. Understandable. Filter feed fan that beneath a mucus sheath pulse with warm light, often surrounded by other creatures benefiting from their glow. It looks like our sample inventory is not full. And I was wrong. We actually have a sample candidate. Surrounded by its audience of light-bathing petals, the fan's sheath shimmers with amber light like a bonfire. Fan sheath. Good amount of power. Deep oasis. Among the elegant shapes of the petals, small silk and light creatures stride, cleaning particles from their pitted surface. At the edge of the light from the fan, the petals are pale and twisted away, perhaps turning to another source of food? Interesting. And why is the fan producing this anyway? Is this gonna just be more pollen? Yeah, deep pollen. I'll just leave it. It's not like it's any use. I just kept eating it. Faint flicker of light silhouette at a tall pillar of basalt shards, rising up into the faint globe above. Veil field. The tangles of veils close around the outcrop here, encasing it in a prison of glinting light. Oh, that's already one I've seen before. Alright. Let's head towards the basalt pillar. Ooh, friend. Crab-like creature. Each one of these shelled creatures seems to have its own territorial loop, an area of seafloor it systematically searches through. Dying veil. Twisted back on itself, this veil is being eaten away by creatures, its defensive abilities neutered. We can sample these tissues. Ooh. Hey, friend. Abyssal snail shell. That is not a snail shell. That is fast. I'm calling these abyssal snail shells. Those wide tail plates are instantly recognizable. Nice. Small dark creature with large translucent tail shell that allows it to rapidly move through the water, navigating the veil tangle safely. There's a dying veil. Sample time. Veil tissue, an almost transparent panel taken from a dying veil. Oh, these hiccups have been killing me for the last, like, 40 minutes. Hiccups are not my friend. Where the veils intersect, strips of bioluminescent flowers, creating bright folds in their gossamer material. And of course, I have to jump through another one. Clear water. After the last veil, the dark water returns. Ouch. Dark water. Outside the reach of the veils, the dark, cool water is a welcome change from the incoherent pattern of lights. I'm guessing that incoherent pattern of lights is meant to, it seems to be through. No more veils ahead. Yeah, we seem to be through. No more veils ahead. Basalt outcrop. Unlike the other outcrops, this one is free of life. Its proximity to the veils vital for the other colony's coexistence? So do the veils prevent other predation, maybe? Disabled ROV. Another of Mine's ROVs. Scattered across the outcrop. We should still be able to use its transmission core to reach the base. Another shelf appears out of the dark, but nowhere on its surface can I see the warm glow of a fan. Damn. Disabled ROV. Let's see what you were here for. Here, in the middle of the outcrop, an ROV. Yeah, what destroyed you? This one was carrying a supply cache, too. We can recharge and fill our oxygen. So, Mine was setting up their own resupply caches. Let's access the map data. Open up the terminal when you're ready. It's not lost on me that we are very deep. Map data. Seems like the ROV was disabled by the veils, like the other one. But there's no veils near it. Do they move? That has to be the case. This can't be right. The mapping scans report large physical anomaly just north of here. From the data, it looks like a structure? That's impossible. Yeah, that shelf edge. Maybe the veils fried the sensor? Either way, we should check it out. Past the shelf here is only the dark of the descending slope. Oh, that is a structure up there. I'm gonna clear out my inventory first. Cause we got something going on. Alright. And yeah, there's 2 pages of this. I was being overly cautious. Oh, and I can just drag it anywhere and it just puts it in its place. Yay! Lab, samples. Multiple taxonomy entries updated. Hell yeah. Egg. Beaded egg, specifically. Abyssal snail shell taxonomy updated. Yeah, it makes sense. Snails typically have these beaded eggs. I really like is it called the moon snail? Those clear, almost like rub-like egg sacs. They look really cool. Avoid bud. Water bulb taxonomy entry updated. Deep pollen time. Multiple entries updated. Hell yeah. Fan sheath. Cold-fired fan taxonomy entry updated. Shad pop. Deep orrery taxonomy updated. Another for the glowing fan. Cold-fire fan. And this is for the veil. Snare veil taxonomy updated. Alright. Yeah, I could do this. Arthropeth Alta, jointed shells. Abyssal sail shell. Oh, sail shell. I read that in snail before, didn't I? These shelled creatures with their large translucent tails are surprisingly fast for animals of their kind. Occasionally spotted weaving between veils in the deep, they use this speed as a way of evading slow-moving tangles. They are also dark in color and small, making them difficult to target for other creatures that might hunt them. They use modified back leg eggs with wide oar-like shapes to both propel themselves and make rapid turns, but most distinctive of all their features is their large translucent tail, which stands like a crest behind them. From my observation, these tails seem to be a form of propulsion for the sail shells. But until I inspect a fragment of one of those for more detail, this cannot be confirmed. After finding a segment from a sail shell's tail, it's obvious that these creatures use their tails for propulsion. Yeah, we thought so earlier. But rather than flapping them like a flipper, the sail shells use their tails to catch currents and allow the flow of water to propel them through the deep ocean. Their tails and the rest of their shells are incredibly light, which means that even a mild flow is enough to grant them a significant speed. That's cool. Oh yeah, that reminds me of that. There's actually a really cool physics experiment. You can design a sail which will actually propel you faster than the current that's pushing you. It is Veritasium actually did a good video on this a while back. They're cool. I know I'm such a nerd, but it's really cool. And so sails are really powerful, even on like the galactic scale, because the amount of propulsion you can actually get out of like even like a solar sail is actually quite significant, especially considering the fact there's no drag in space. So you keep picking up speed. If you were to combine the physics of that sail that would let you move faster for the same amount of wind, and a solar sail, I wonder how fast you could get something going. Obviously, with solar sails, it's kind of a one-direction trip, but that's still half the amount of fuel it takes. But why travel back and forth through dangerous field? Their propulsion is best suited... Alright, I lost where I was. Which means that even a mild flow is enough to grant them significant speed. This may be also why they follow the same paths. Their propulsion is best suited to using currents where they can find them, rather than choosing their own route. But why travel back and forth through dangerous veil territory over and over? Perhaps a look at the full sail shell, even a larval one, could help us understand this. And this is where we got their eggs. After analysis I blame my tongue piercing. After analyzing a clutch of beaded sail shell eggs and inspecting their anatomy, I've started to understand their behavior. Larval sail shells are already forming modified limbs into thin, thread-like whisks on them. These limbs move so fast when the sail shell is swimming that they can't be seen, but in the dormant eggs they are clearly visible. These whisks could allow the sail shells to feed by catching small larval creatures as well as any other particular nutrients they found in the water. This must be what the sail shells are doing when they follow their carefully selected paths back and forth through the water. It is also likely that the veils attract, trap, and produce tiny particles that the sail shells feed on, hence their close proximity. The result for sail shells is a risky feeding pattern. Oh, that's cool. It's a bug that sails. Translucent sail plates. Oh, that's cool. Oh wait, it's Hornet. Or more accurately, if you flip it upside down, it looks like the Queen from Hollow Knight. Or yeah, that one was called the Queen, right? I don't know. It's like a Hornet. You even got horns. I'm such a goober. I really should play Silk Song sometime. Shell markings, nutrient sweepers, swimming limbs. It's adorable. I would love to see them in person. And I'm gonna call it there. I have a lot more reading to do. So I thank you all very much for joining me. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. And in the next episode, we finish up the taxonomy. We pick up at that sample out there, and we check out this structure. Ooh, there's something way up there. Thank you all very much. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And share with a friend who think you might enjoy my humor and content and rambling. See you when I see you. Love y'all. Bye.